Namaste. This is our blissful flow for Monday. I'm going to be sharing with you what I shared at Unity Studio yesterday. We were talking about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, what in yoga we call Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is said to be indwelling more at the crown of the head, or the crown chakra, and it represents Purusha. And Purusha is mentioned in the yogic philosophy as being the divine intelligence or consciousness behind the whole universe, behind all of creation. And Prakriti is the same thing as Shakti, and it is what the object is that's coming to life, whether it's nature, um, any of creation, or manifestations in general. And so that represents the divine feminine. And the Kundalini Shakti is what is often represented as a coiled up snake at the base of the spine. And the intention is to get this dormant life force energy, these creative juices, on the rise. If you've studied the chakras with me, everything that's moving up the chain of the chakras, moving upward, is about spiritual liberation. And as energy moves downward, it's about manifesting on this earthly plane. Both lines of energy are important. We can't be on this earthly plane and just be a hermit in a cave reaching spiritual enlightenment. We have to actually, feed ourselves and provide a roof for ourselves. And, we're in this 3D reality. So we have to pay attention to those things. But when I was speaking about the divine masculine and feminine yesterday, what I failed to say was hatha yoga. There's many different forms of yoga. Hatha yoga is the physical style of yoga. Ha means sun, ta means moon. And the sun represents the masculine, and the moon represents the feminine. So even in hatha yoga, what we're trying to do is trying to strike a balance, trying to create a harmony between these energies that dwell in all of us. It doesn't matter what sex we are, male or female, we have both energies inside of us. The masculine energy is that which is more paternal, unchanging, unshaking, what is always there. It's about knowledge and clarity. And the divine feminine is about birthing things. It's about movements, anything mutable, change. It's the provider, it's the nurturer, it's the nourisher. And they both represent different aspects or expressions of the divine. And so when you see it represented in, say, myths, or some of the stories, it will talk about the gods and the goddesses, and they're pictured together as a couple. But it's not about the sexual union. It is about the spiritual union of the individual soul or spirit connecting with the larger source energy. So with that being said, we'll meet on the mat. I don't know if you can see it, but you're going to need a strap today, and we'll be using that strap a lot. If you don't have a strap at home, use a scarf, a belt, a necktie. When I started yoga for the whole first year of yoga, I wasn't in a studio environment, and we used neckties, and they work perfectly. All right, I'll meet you on the mat. Since we're talking about the divine masculine and feminine and how we can work with both and create a balance, remember the right side is considered the masculine side, the left side the feminine side. And the left side of the nose sometimes is in more control over the breath. Sometimes the right side of the nose is more control over the breath. We know that the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, and vice versa. It shows up when we have a cold and all of a sudden we can't breathe on one side. And then 20 minutes later, it reverses. So this type of breath, Nadi Shodhanam, is about alternate nostril breathing to strike a balance so that one is not dominating over the other. I have researched this before. If you're dominant more so in the left side of the nose or in the right side of the nose, one of those leads to depression, and another one leads to diabetes. So if you suffer from any of those conditions, I would definitely research it more. and see what you discover. All right, with the right hand, I know it looks like my left, but I'm not mirroring you. The first two fingers are going to go to the third eye. The ring finger and the thumb are going to hang down, and you'll be swapping the fingers as we go through the pranayama. We'll start taking a deep breath in and out through both sides. Use your thumb to close the right side. Breathe in through the opening on the left. Now swap the fingers, breathe out right. Breathe in right. Breathe out left. In left. Out right. Continue. Next time you breathe out right, you're going to lean the trunk over to the right thigh. Inhale, rock back to the top. Exhale, breathe out, lean left. Continue. Rocking motion with your rhythmic breathing. While you're doing this exercise, even consider the yin-yang symbol, what represents the divine masculine and feminine. Now the next time you lean to the left and breathe out to the left, remove the mudra from the face, sit right back up. And then we're going to come away from the bolster or whatever you may be sitting on. And have one foot in front of the other like a modified Siddhasana pose. Stack your hands to your knees, lift up through your chest, twist over to the right, drop down and sweep to the left. And you're just going to do the circular motion, but I would suggest closing the eyes, going within, and letting your own personal expression form. This Kriya is repetitive action, good for the kidneys and the adrenals, good for opening the hips, lubricating the joints in the hips and low back. With this, you can go at any pace of your liking. Just breathe into the top and exhale, swoop it down and around. And then come back up to the top, flip your hands open, take pause. Be in stillness and notice what you're feeling internally, where the energy is traveling. And you may notice it spiraling in different areas and moving upward towards your brain. It's because when we exercise, when we move the body, especially when we're taking those little twists, the energy runs upward. Now let's swap the positioning of the feet. Stack the hands to the knees, twist slightly to the left side, swoop down and over to the right. Once you have it, close the eyes. Part of the intention here is to reduce the fear and doubt we tend to hold inside. Chinese medicine, they say that's related back to the kidneys. And the kidneys are associated with the second chakra. Shakti is often related to the first and the second chakras. And come on up to the top. Now that we've stirred that up, flip your hands open. Be in stillness a moment. And notice what you're experiencing now. Be like a sponge and just absorb it. And open up the eyes, come down to your back. We're going to use that strap. So go ahead and drive your right knee in as soon as you lay back. Take the strap over the foot, sail it skyward, flex both feet, and breathe. Take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Let your left hand hold down your left hip. We don't want that pelvis to tip. So if you fire into your left leg, it will keep the left side of your seat down. Keep pressing up through your right foot. Opening up the inner thigh and the groin. This is Padangusthasana B. And then on your next inhale, bring it back to A, but we're not holding it there. We're going to swap hands to hold the strap. The right arm can reach to the side. Just teeter that leg over your midline and hold. The IT band is usually sensitive for all of us. Let that banded tissue stretch out a moment. And then when you're ready, roll towards your left hip. Take the spinal twist. The head can stay neutral, or you can turn it to either side. Inhale, bring the leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, remove the strap. And then bring your left foot to the strap. Send it upward. Flex the ankles. Spread the toes. The more you activate your hands or feet, the more it'll move up the kinetic chain of the limbs. So it's super important. Take both ends of the strap into your left hand. Right hand holds down the hip. Open up. Padangusthasana B. Listen to your body. Each side is different. And life shows up in the body differently according to our habits, according to where the stress is collecting or calcifying in the body. So we don't want to take it to the point of pain or strain. Inhale, bring the leg back up. Swap hands to hold the strap. Lean it across from you. The IT band, I've noticed, can get especially tight for anyone who does a lot of repetitive motion. So, for instance, people who run, people who cycle, and even people who are more sedentary or drive a lot. Now, continue to take the twist. So I know rolling is a big, it's become a big trend the last few years. And rolling feels amazing to the connective tissues, but I've read a couple articles that say you really shouldn't roll on the IT band. So you can research that on your own, but just a heads up. They say with the IT band, it can cause more damage than good. All right, on your next in-breath, bring it back up. And as you exhale, bend the knee and remove the strap. We're going to take a quick happy baby pose. So the legs and the hips is how we're going to stir up the Shakti. We'll be doing standing poses to help with that. In the end, we're going to do more inversions, and we'll mix a few inversions into our flow that will activate the Shiva. And the point of activating both of them is to get them moving so that they can meet and marry or create this union at the altar of the heart. As you're holding here, working into the hips, see if you can close your eyes. Become more immersed with your breath, because even our conscious breath work can allow these energies to meet in the heart. That's why the heart center is focused on so much in yoga. Now, when you release your feet, you're going to kick your heels up in the air. You're going to rock and roll forward, pushing yourself up to Malasana squat. It's okay if the heels are up or down. It's okay to be yin or yang. And I'm going to switch to the yin form, bowing my head to prayer hands. Couple more breaths. Take your hands down, turn your feet to be parallel. Hang out in a wide stance form of Uttanasana. Opening the back of the body, the back of the legs, create space in the low back that gets more compression when we're sitting and standing. And then take your hands to your hips and slowly begin to drive up. And bring the feet together, hands to prayer position at the heart. And you're going to take your strap. And we're going to start holding the strap. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Root and ground your feet. Stack, stand, engage your legs, and slowly sail the arms up. Track the arms alongside your ears if possible. Stay anchored in your feet and curve to one side. Chandrasana, crescent moon. Remember, it's more about the lift and the extension than how far you are flexing on one side. This will help to build some internal strength to the inner obliques and inner intercostals on the supportive side. Inhale, rise back up, curve to the other. Open up the breath. Maybe affirming strength and courage fill up my body cells. Now, the next time you come up to the top, you're going to exhale, bring the strap just behind the head. You're going to shift your thighs and hips forward and begin to crank the arms up and back behind you. Open up the belly, open up your heart, open up those shoulders, gazing towards the ceiling. And then slowly come back up and release the strap just in front of the mat. All right, bring your hands to prayer position. We're going to start our flow. Inhale, lift your arms skyward. Exhale, swan dive forward and down to Uttanasana. From Uttanasana, inhale, come halfway up. Ardha. Exhale, back to Uttanasana. Inhale, take your plank. Pausing here in plank. Shift forward, lower down to Chaturanga. Maybe hold an extra breath today before descending to the belly. Take the strap, stretch the arms in front of you, rest to your chin. Inhale, you're lifting all four limbs off the floor. Gaze forward, locust pose. We have the tendency in this pose to hold the breath because we're not just toning the lower body, strengthening the glutes in the back. This is also core strength. When the core is activated, oftentimes we prohibit the breath. But the breath is the heart of yoga. So bring the breath into play to bring the pose more to life. Now exhale, lower the strap back down, hands up underneath the shoulders, elbows squeeze into the side body, your legs elongate back behind you. Inhale, roll up Bhujangasana. Exhale down to the brow. We're going to do 2 more cobras. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Look straight ahead with your eyes. Exhale, roll down. Last one, inhale, rolling up. Exhale down to the ground. Now we're going to work on some strength today, so curl your toes, pluck the knees off the floor, retract the belly as much as you can here, and then drive up plank. Exhale, down dog. From your downward facing dog, step your right foot forward, ground that foot, find that strap. Inhale, build up, crescent, lunge. We're going to inhale, lift higher using your back foot. Exhale, drop low through your back calf and heel. Twice more. Now, if you want to experiment, bring the strap behind your head, lean back, and start to take the arms up and back behind you to create the full crescent lunge. Exhale, lower the strap down. Step to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps through. Find that strap. Ground your feet. Balance and breathe. At first, the chin is parallel to the floor. Inhale, build up. Exhale, sink the back calf and heel. Twice more. Strap behind the head. Lean back. Take the arms up and back. Out of your peripheral line of view. Exhale, lower the hands and strap. Launch the back foot forward. Lengthen out through the vertebrae at first. And exhale, bow over and down. Loosen your neck. Let everything flow towards the crown of the head. Bear witness. That's the inner witness, the soulful part of yourself, paying attention. Inhale all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, we're going right back in. In halfway. Out and lower. Inhale, take plank. Pause here. Shoulders, elbows, wrists aligned. Belly hugging in towards the back. Heart shining forward. Now tip forward, lower down, chaturanga. Maybe hold an extra breath. And then release. Take the strap, lengthen your arms, rise to Salabhasana. Exhale, lower the strap. Hands are actually going to be offset on the fingertips, and you're creating the neck wings of the cobra with your arms. Don't forget to lengthen back through the legs. Glue the feet to the floor. Inhale, come up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower, slightly twisting to the left with your neck. Coming halfway down with the right ear. Inhale, lift taller. Exhale, drop it halfway, turning your face to the right. Left ear lowers halfway. And you're going back and forth with your breath. Conscious movement, conscious breathing. Make it intentional. This is what makes yoga different from regular forms of exercise. Inhaling up, exhale down to the third eye. Slip your hands, tuck them under your shoulders, but roll the shoulders back from your face. Curl the toes, prepare to rise in plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, the sits bones are the pinnacle of the pose. Like meditation is the pinnacle of yoga. Inhale, right foot's gonna step through. Find your strap, ground the back foot, bring it up. Warrior one. But instead of doing regular warrior one, we're gonna do an exalted form. So continue to sail the arms up, lean your head back. Exhale, lower the head and the hands. Swish that strap behind you. Shoulders crank back, arms lift away from the sacrum, and we're gonna fold to humble the warrior. You're dropping to the inside of that right knee. Notice how the shoulders wanna get lax. Pick them back up. Try not to swing the right hip over. Keep it kind of tucked in and under. And then inhale, when you're coming halfway up, you can take that strap in front of you. Step back, down dog. Inhale, left foot steps through, back heel sinks down. Bring that strap with you. Warrior one. And then take exalted warrior. Bring the arms down, strap behind your back. Remember, the shoulders and the arms are an extension of the heart. And when you're ready, fold. Most importantly, breathe. Coming up, taking the strap down, stepping to the top of the mat, lifting up halfway. Exhale, roll back down towards your thighs. Firming here, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Striking balance between the divine masculine and feminine. One cannot survive without the other. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, we're going right back down. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, take plank. And exhale, take Chaturanga Dandasana. It's that low push-up, maybe hovering, hold, and sink to the belly. Stretch the arms out. Our final locust. Exhale. Hands up underneath the shoulders. Legs lengthen back. Make sure the feet are coming closer together because the legs and the toes here work as an extension of the tailbone. And we're going to do a dancing cobra up and down. We haven't done this in a while. So the dancing cobra, you can just simply roll the shoulders back and slowly rise. That's just a suggestion. There's no right or wrong. I like to dip up and down. Some people like to wave the head and the neck. And come back to the third eye, curl your toes. One last push up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Master the breath to master yourself. Inhale, right foot steps through. Find your strap. Ground the back foot. Come on up. Lift the arms overhead. Keep both legs straight. We're going to tilt and form a variation of triangle pose. Notice you have to grip your feet more and you have to grip in your belly more because we're not dumping the arm down to the shin. Now lunge that front knee. Take side angle, glue that back foot down. Keep your heart belly spun open. When you're ready, roll out. Step back down dog. Inhale, left foot forward, ground the back foot. Come up with your strap. Arms lift overhead. Shift into your hips. Lean across the front leg. Lunge the front knee. Keep the angle of the upper body. I am becoming a fountain of boundless energy and power. Divine masculine and feminine. Spin away from the back heel. Springboard the back foot forward. Open the heart. Exhale, roll it down and try to magnetize the heart lower towards your knees and shins. Inhale up. Exhale back down. Step back plank. Then come down to your knees. All right, so we're gonna switch from being in that flow to being more on the crown of the head. We're gonna create some inversions. And so we're just gonna roll back and forth over the crown of the head, similar to hare pose or sasana. You start off kind of sitting on your heels. Your hands are gonna be set more alongside your knees. You're gonna come down to the brow. Similar to child's pose, but as you inhale, the hips lift and you roll to the top of the head. And then as you exhale, send your hips down, roll back to your brow. And do that a few more times. You are pulling the belly in and you are creating a little bit of a cat stretch back. And so rolling over the head this way, remember there's like tons of marma points. Marma is the term we use in Sanskrit, but it's like acupressure points. There's tons on the head, which is why if you ever get a massage, the head is like, oh, it's like one of the best places to get a massage. That's why little girls like to sit and comb each other's hair. Like it stimulates all of this. It can be very relaxing. It can be very, very stress relieving. It can also activate the hair follicles as well. So when you come back up, Sasangasana the regular way is when we hold the feet, but we're going to do it a different way. This is the Kripalu way, and they actually call it Yoga Nidra. So we've been warming up the shoulders. We're going to lace the hands and roll the shoulders back. And if you can't keep that action, then use the strap. But we're going to lift the hips, come into the top of the head, sail the knuckles skyward, and breathe. And slowly come back up. So our next inversion is going to be either Shashasana 2, headstand number 2, or Shashasana 1, which is headstand number 1. I'm going to show you Shashasana 2 first, and then I'll demo Shashasana 1. If you want to join me, if you already know what I'm leading here, then you can try both. I'm folding my mat over about a third of the way down to provide this nice large square. And this is where I'm going to set up for the tripod. Now, the tripod is like the equilateral triangle that we're trying to set up so that we can align and balance and be safe. So the wrist would come more towards the base of that double fold, and the head would be more at the top. And you do want that farther distance for the head. So sometimes you have to actually crawl the knees in to set it up. And then the elbows squeeze towards each other to create some strength with the triceps and deltoids. We start to elevate the knees, travel the feet in, and stack the knees on the upper arms, pointing the toes up. There is going to be more pressure on the head here. So if you have some neck issues, you may want to avoid that position and move more into Shashasana 1. In that Shashasana 2, if you wanted to lift to headstand, you can just by lifting the leg straight up. Shashasana 1, you have more of a primary base with your arms, So there's less weight on the head, which would provide more of a safety net for your neck. And you can actually go against a wall. And you don't have to go all the way up. You can do dolphin. But the way we set up this one, you want to cross your arms. And if the fingers wrap around your elbows, you know that you're in a good position. Otherwise, your elbows may be too wide, and that can put a strain on the shoulders. So once you keep the elbows in place, separate your hands away, lace the fingers. Both pinky fingers are going to push down into the ground. We open the thumbs because the hands are going to cradle the head. So as you move the head forward, I want you to go ahead and push down through your arms and feel that work in your abdomen. Feel the heart hiding away. Feel your upper back getting strong, lifting like a cat stretch. And then take the head lightly to the floor. And then do those little push-ups a couple times. And this will help you to realize what needs to be engaged. Now, we're overly engaging when we are picking up the head from the floor. And so we need to find and strike that balance between the required effort and not just letting all the weight drop into the head and the neck. And then once we start to tuck the toes and lift the knees, we're going to walk the feet forward to align the hips over the shoulders like this. And then once you get that, you might be able to pike the legs up together. You might have to curl up with your knees bent. And you might be able to take one leg up and then drive the other one up with it. But you roll the thighs towards each other. You point the toes in the air. And then when you're ready to come down, cautiously come down, lengthen through your neck and take child's pose, arms around your body. When I first started yoga, I could do headstand. I've been able to do it since I was a child. But I wasn't instructed well, and I got in a poor habit of doing it the wrong way. I landed at a workshop at a Iyengar studio, and they're very precise with alignment. And so I got into the pose easier because of all the instruction, but then we had to hold it for 5 minutes. Holding it for that long, I went back into my poor habit. When we came out and we dropped into child's pose, I felt so heavy in my chest. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I realized that I wasn't holding the alignment for the entire 5 minutes, right? I was getting weaker and weaker, and then all the weight started coming down to my chest and down to my head and my neck. So I strongly advise you, when you start to feel your weakness or you start to fall into that poor habit or your muscles are fatiguing, come out, to maintain the integrity of the practice and to continue to honor yourself. You don't want to get injured. And then once you come out of child's pose, we are ready for Shavasana. And so since we were trying to activate the Shakti, that dormant energy at the base of the spine, moving it upward, and since we were working with the Shiva and trying to bring it downward, we want to open up the heart. So let's bring the bolster in. Let's keep it simple. Let's let it pad our entire vertebrae. So from your low back up to the head. Your hands can rest palms open beside you somewhere. And your eyes can gently close. There's a story about Hanuman, who was the monkey headed deity. He was in service and the greatest devotee of Ram. And Ram was married to Sita, and Sita was kidnapped. And Hanuman was the one who discovered where she was at and created the charge to rescue her. But there's another story of Hanuman where he's sitting in meditation. Hanuman's all about devotion of the heart. And within this story, in fact, I'm wondering if it's pictured here. Anyway, he rips his chest open, and instead of revealing the heart, within the heart was Ram and Sita, and it represents the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together in the state of union. So to remind you, yoga means to yoke, to bind together, to create unity. So center your energy in your heart. Rest in the devotion of your heart. And if or when the mind wants to get pulled towards the past or the future, bring it back to this moment. And if your mind starts to attach to a particular thought, try to divert away. We're trying to lessen polarity or lessen that pull towards one opinion or another. But just simply hold space in the heart. The breath can also help you to drop into the ocean of being. So let the physical practice go and do the inner work. The sound of the bell chime. Take command over your breath again. Once you enliven your breath, begin to create some movement in your body. Bending your knees, rolling over to one side. Let's conclude our practice together, sitting upright. Hands joining. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.